folks, and welcome back to Fishing with Den. Sorry it's been a few weeks since I last did a video, but I had to have my eyes fixed and I had to go to Bali for my son's wedding. So we're back now, and we're back on Den's pond. It's also spring, so I've decided that I want to repeat the experiment from a few weeks ago when it was winter, where I showed you how you could catch plenty of fish by feeding virtually nothing. So we're going to give that a repeat go today. But first of all, let me show you my fishing dog. Here he is. This is Buster the fishing dog. He'll stand like that all day in exactly that position, waiting for fish to come out. He'll also start in a second to start digging for them down there. He seems to think they live under his feet and he can dig in water and he'll catch fish. Anyway, back to more serious things. So last time I fished it in the winter, the water temperature was about 9 degrees. It's obviously gone up some, and I've got myself, this is actually a pool thermometer which I bought from the local DIY store, and it's just on a winder with a bit of line. What I'm going to do is, excuse me, throw that in the edge. The dog thinks it's a fish and so he's going for it. I'll leave that in for a minute or two and we'll come back and we'll give you a reading. Okay, the thermometer's been in for a minute or two now. Let's drag it out and see what we've got. And currently the temperature is about 17 degrees centigrade, so that's 64 degrees Fahrenheit compared to 48 degrees Fahrenheit a few weeks ago. So it's warmed up quite considerably, but it's still not summer, so that you don't really expect the fish to be feeding at full tilt like they would do in summer. So I'm still going to feed my way in, do exactly the same thing as I did last time, gradually increase the amount of bait going in, and we'll see how that makes the fish respond. To start off with, I'm just going to do exactly what I did before. I'm feeding nothing for the first half an hour or so and see if I get any bites. Let's see how it goes, shall we? So tackle wise then, as you can see, I'm using a homemade bodied waggler with a weight at the bottom. I happen to have a yellow tip in at the moment, but those are interchangeable. Because it's already weighted there, I only need a couple of shot below it, a couple of dropper shot, number 6s, and one just a few inches from the hook, or at least it was a minute ago. There we go, as a telltale. So if the fish picks it up, that lifts and the float rises in the water. Simple as that, really. Well, we're about 20 minutes in and I haven't fed anything, but normally I'd have had a bite by now, so I've just fed 3 pieces of sweet corn and 3 pellets just to see what happens. In the summer I can usually catch just along these edge of these reeds here, and what I do is I throw out quite a lot of these pellets, which I'm going to try now. It may or may not work today, but literally if I throw them out like that and just leave them for a fair bit of time, there we go, and a few pieces of sweet corn. Dog's fascinated, as you can probably just see his tail. Leave that an hour or two, see how it goes, and if we're getting towards summer conditions, might get a few fish down there later. We're an hour in, haven't had a bite that I could see properly yet. I think I might have had a nudge, but it's been very slow. I've just started to put a little bit of feed in. Got 3 pellets going in every few minutes or so, a couple of bits of sweet corn just to see if we can get these things moving, but it's actually quite slow, and that's quite surprising really, because it is definitely getting warmer. Well, Buster's getting panicky, look. He's off to another spot down there. He's going to see if he can catch anything down there. Last few minutes he's been up and down, up and down. He's desperate to see a fish. Well, finally got a bite. We need to just tighten this up a little bit. Taken a while, that's an hour and a quarter. Dog's fascinated, he knows there's one on. look. Oh. Dog's in hunting mode. Yeah. What's that, Buster? What's that? Hey? What is it? Hey? You like fish, don't you? You like fish? See? See? Well, I was watching the guys over there doing some work and a float went under. Didn't see it. All I saw was the rod pulling around. It's only a very small fish, little goldfish thing. Leave it. Leave that. Don't eat the float, dopey. Don't eat the float, eh? Yeah, look, just a little goldfish, but it swallowed it this time. Well, third bite in the last 10 minutes, so something's happening. It's a bit bigger. There we are, just down to the right. Go straight through the bit I just baited up an half an hour ago. And Buster's seen him. And of course I've thrown the landing net over here. Well, I got tangled up with a dog a minute ago. So not massive, but nice little fish. Oh, what are you doing, Buster? What are you doing? Hey, don't bite it. Don't bite it. See? There you go. Look. Right, and don't get the hook in you either, dopey. And the hook's come out in the net because it's a barbless. Nice fish. Isn't it, Buster? Hey, isn't it? Alright, come out of the way. Okay, so that was 3 fish in a few minutes. I've just been feeding steadily those same 3 bits of pellets and also a couple of bits of corn every now and then. Literally probably every 4 or 5 minutes or so. It's made a difference obviously, so let's hope it continues. Thick and fast now. Nice fish again. Probably about 4 pounds. Where's it, Buster? Hey, where is it? Yep, that was a run this time. Small fish. And it's a tiny little goldfish. Buster, get out of the way. Oops. if I could get hold of it, I'll show you. There we go, lovely little fish. Swallowed it again. Still coming, still goldfish. Well, seems all of a sudden the goldfish have moved in and the other carp have moved out. Buster don't care though, does he? Just got to stop him getting tangled up in the line. Oh, that's a different coloured one. That is a goldfish. Yeah. I haven't seen one of those in here before.
Oh, okay.
Well, what do you think, mate? What do you think? That's a lovely little fish.
Good size, some of them.
Yeah, well, that's come out of someone's aquarium, I suspect.
Yeah, I'm guessing.
So that was a nice little goldfish. It was a real goldfish as well, very golden. And I was talking to the council guy at the time. Looks like they've been planting flowers down here and he's down just watering them. Well, at least I don't have to work for a living. Yes. Better. Don't lick it. Don't lick it, it's a fish. See? Okay, so that's about 7 fish I think it is in the last hour or two now. When they came on, they've come on really well, but I've continued to just feed the 3 bits of pellet and a couple of bits of corn every few minutes. Bites are still coming thick and fast, so what I'm going to do now is up the feed rate a little bit and see what difference that makes. So I'm going to keep feeding that swim out there, about double the amount. That'll be 6 pellets and about 4 pieces of sweet corn, again every few minutes just to see how we go. In the meantime, I'm going to try down here just to see if anything's moved in on the edge. Now, I haven't actually gone down in depth to accommodate the shallowness of this little area here. It's probably only about 18 inches 2 feet deep, but I always know if there's fish there because the float starts to bobble around, and then at that point that's when I'll take the depth off and fish it properly. At the moment there's no movement, so I'm just going to put it a little bit further over, put that out of the way, see if there's anything further over there, and if not, we'll go back to the normal swim. No, nothing down there yet. Not surprising though, it's still early spring, water's still a little bit cool, and of course we've had the dog all the way down here. He's actually just decided he likes up there better, but hey, I think he's probably not been the best thing for getting fish in the edge. So let's go back out. Well, that's my first bite since we started to increase the rate a bit. It seems we've gone back to these little goldfish again. Lovely little fish, but they do seem to like to swallow it. I don't know if you can see that, folks, but that is a tiny little lizard. Well, we've given this feeding a bit heavier a go, and almost immediately the bites have tapered off. Now it could just have been that was going to happen anyway, because obviously all the disturbance in a 3 feet deep swim isn't going to help. but it does seem that we have sort of overfed to some extent. The problem is, once you've overfed, it's very difficult to start to feed less again because you've already got the bait out there, and quite often that means the end of the day in terms of bites. I'm going to slow it down. It may take a little while. There is a fish out there anyway. It may take a little while, but we'll see how we go. I may get them back, but I wouldn't be too hopeful at this point. But hopefully, even up to now, it does illustrate my point. Even in the spring, what you don't want to do is to put too much bait in. I'd overfeed them. Well, about half an hour ago I slowed down on the feed again, and this is my first bite since. So we'll keep the feed rate to going what it was originally, and see if that continues to prove the point about feeding. What's that, Buster? Hey, what's that? Don't try and lick its mouth, give it that kiss. This one's a bit better. Not a goldfish this time. Not much bigger though. Well, at least we're starting to catch a couple again after I've slowed down on the feed. Just to leave it. What are you doing? Hey? What are you doing? There we go, another one. You having a hunt, mate? Hey, having a hunt? Oh, I got him, you didn't. Close though, mate, weren't you? You were close that time. Well, I don't know what this is. You gotta laugh. I cast out and I literally couldn't see the float. I only glanced away for a second, pulled tight, and there's a little fish on the end. Would you believe it? Lovely little fish, and it's unhooked himself. Oh God! Oh dear! Pulled the hook. Oh, crying out loud! There we go. Oh, careful dog, you're falling in. Don't get too excited, will you? Hey, don't get too excited. Oh, that's a nice fish. And it's unhooked itself again. Well, thick and fast again now. It's been about an hour since I slowed down on the feed again, and I've lost a couple. Just pulled the hook out at the edge here, and I'm getting a bite every cast again now. So they're not massive fish, but they're just great fun. The dog loves them as well. There you go, mate, there's another one, isn't it? That's another one for you. Yeah. Swallowed it again. perfect fish. Well folks, sorry about the slightly abrupt ending to this one. I was fishing away, I was thoroughly enjoying myself, and I completely lost track of time, pretty much as normal. And I forgot that I got to pick the wife up from the railway station. So, massive bundling of tackle together, throwing it in the car, taking the dog home, and just getting to the station in time to pick the wife up and keep her happy. So, as far as the fishing goes, hopefully I proved what I set out to prove, which is that in spring, the weather has warmed up, but don't go throwing in loads and loads of bait as if it's the summer. As you saw, I started by feeding nothing, then went to feeding very small amounts and started to catch really well for the first hour or two. It was only when I upped the bait amount again and basically doubled it from 3 bits of pellet to 6 and 4 bits of sweetcorn. At that point, that's when things went wrong. The fish is backed off completely, and I had to then try and give it time to come back by literally slowing down completely on the feed. Eventually I got back into the rhythm of 3 bits of pellet and 2 pieces of corn every 3 or 4, every 5 minutes, something like that. It took half an hour to an hour to get the next bite, and luckily on this occasion I did actually manage to bring the fish back, and they started to come thick and fast again. That said, if that had been winter and I'd killed the swim by putting too much bait in, I would be highly unlikely to expect to get anything back. As they always say, you can put as much feed as you want in, but if you get it wrong, you can't take it out again. So, as I said, hopefully by showing you how to feed fairly carefully to start with, trying to build it up, if it works, great. But in this case it didn't, so slackening off again. Quite possibly I could have ended up in a situation where I really just didn't catch any more, but spring can be quite forgiving, and on this occasion they did come back. So it's not summer yet folks. The motto on this one is keep it simple, keep it sparing, build slowly, and back off if you have to. Hope you enjoyed this one folks. If you did, click the like button as usual. If you want to subscribe you can do that too, and until the next time, bye for now.